They say the woods of northern Minnesota hold secrets that should never be found. And in February of 2006, a man named Daniel Price accidentally found one of them. Daniel wasn't a thrill seeker. He wasn't an adventurer or a ghost hunter. He was a 32-year-old substitute teacher from Duluth who just wanted a weekend away from the noise of city life. His plan was simple: rent a small, off-grid cabin near the Canadian border and spend 2 nights hiking, reading, and drinking instant coffee by the fire. He booked the place through a strange website, one that didn't show up in a Google search anymore. It had no reviews. But the photos looked peaceful: snow-covered pines, a frozen lake, and a rustic little cabin surrounded by nothing but trees. He arrived on a Friday afternoon. The sun was already beginning to dip behind the horizon, painting the snow with an orange glow. The cabin was exactly like the pictures: small, sturdy, and quiet. There was no Wi-Fi, no TV, and no cell signal. Just what he wanted. That night, Daniel lit a fire and opened a dog-eared copy of Into the Wild. But after about an hour, he noticed something strange. Every few minutes, he heard a faint tapping sound coming from the wall behind him. At first, he assumed it was just the wood creaking from the cold. But the sound didn't follow a pattern. It would stop, then start again. 3 taps. Pause. 1 tap. Pause. Then 6 taps in a row. He got up, walked outside, and circled the cabin. Nothing. No footprints in the snow. No trees close enough to be scraping the wall. He shrugged it off and went to bed. The next morning, things got weirder. When Daniel stepped outside with his thermos of coffee, he saw something strange in the snow about 30 feet from the cabin. A trail. Not of boot prints, but of long, narrow impressions, almost like claws dragging through the snow in a straight line. Whatever made them didn't walk. It slid or dragged itself. The trail ended abruptly at a tree. But there was nothing in the branches. No broken limbs. No animal tracks around it. Just that weird trail, and silence. He took a photo with his old flip phone, but the screen glitched, and the image came out corrupted. That afternoon, while hiking the ridge to get a better view of the lake, he found something that made him stop cold: a small clearing filled with bones. Deer, raccoon, maybe even a bear. All picked clean, no signs of decay, no fur, just piles of snow-dusted bones, and a rotten smell in the air that made his eyes water. He turned back immediately. That night, the tapping returned. But this time, it was on the window. Not just behind him, on every window. He turned off the firelight and sat frozen in the dark. For almost 10 minutes, the sound continued. Tap. 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 All around him. Then silence. Daniel didn't sleep. He sat in a chair clutching a fire poker, staring at the door until dawn. When the sun came up, he packed. Fast. But before he left, he made the mistake of checking the trail camera the cabin owner had installed out back. There was a little red light blinking, motion detected. He scrolled through the footage. At 3:14 a.m., the camera caught something. A tall, thin figure with gray skin and long arms had crept past the cabin. Its limbs were too long for its body, and it moved like a marionette with its strings cut. It didn't walk. It glided. Its face had no features, no eyes, no nose, just a wide, stretched-out grin carved across where a mouth should be. As Daniel stared at the screen, the video glitched. For one split second, the thing looked at the camera. And smiled wider. Daniel shut it off, left the cabin, and drove non-stop back to Duluth. He told a few friends about it, but no one believed him. They said he imagined it. That it was just isolation, maybe a dream. But the story doesn't end there. 2 months later, in April of 2006, the owner of that cabin went missing. His name was Wayne Hargrove. He lived off-grid, sold firewood to campers, and sometimes rented the place out to tourists like Daniel. His cousin reported him missing after weeks of no contact. Police went out to the cabin and found it empty. But in the snow around the cabin, were claw-like trails. Just like the ones Daniel had seen. And inside the cabin, every single window was broken. From the inside out. They never found Wayne. But 3 years later, in 2009, a hunter named Caleb Morgan was found in the same area, alive, but barely. He had been missing for 5 days. When rescuers found him, he was hiding inside a hollow tree trunk, his skin covered in cuts, and repeating just one sentence over and over again, "Don't smile back. Don't smile back. Don't smile back." Local legends up there say that what Daniel saw was a Wendigo, a spirit from Algonquin folklore that possesses those who consume human flesh and turns them into monsters. They say it hunts in the winter. It mimics human voices. It watches from the trees. And if you see it, don't smile back. Because if you do, it follows you. Daniel moved out of Minnesota a year later. He changed his phone number, deleted his online accounts, and never went camping again. But every now and then, he still receives a strange postcard in the mail. No return address. Just a photo of the forest. And a single word written in smudged ink, "Smile."